I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
Was that in the version you saw? You saw Darkseid?
Yes, there was a Darkseid in there.
What did it look like?
got him! Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video bomb dropping day.
A very happy Father's Day to all of the fathers, especially the Snyder fans. Woo! Some good stuff. You could be a pet parent, you could be a parent, or whatever, but wow, Snyder gave us a gift today.
Something that's always been on the curiosity end, for me at least, I'm not sure about Shane, was we hear all this stuff about Uxas or Uxas or whatever his name is, / Darkseid, being in the Snydercut. What was his involvement? And then a while back, Stephen Colbert put out an article saying Darkseid versus Ares was a thing in the history battle. Snyder has now officially confirmed that more than ever with this image.
What the fuck?
The image of Darkseid. It was originally Darkseid, or Uxas, that was attacking Earth in the history lesson, not Steppenwolf. It is clear as day, and there he is, CGI and all. Very surprising to see that. I'm curious to know how much Darkseid CGI was actually done, because I kind of thought in my head that that would be the stuff that would be the least amount done. He has at least one frame of footage where he is done. It's done.
Be careful saying that. It's done. Awesome image. It shows a young Darkseid. One of the things that I've seen a lot of people talk about in reference to this image is, and possibly some confusion, is if Steppenwolf was not supposed to be in this movie at all and it was supposed to actually be Darkseid. I think there's some confusion with that. For me, the way that I interpret it is it's just for this scene alone, just for the history scene, and Darkseid may have played a separate part later on, but he doesn't completely replace Steppenwolf. And I've seen people, even on one of our comments, I believe on Facebook, they had asked, so was Darkseid just completely replacing Steppenwolf, which I don't believe that's the case. I think just in this specific scene, but to make it more cohesive for the Justice League version, they completely removed him and threw Steppenwolf in for this history battle.
Yeah, just for the history battle, because if you remember that mural that John Aaron Garza over there at Real Anarchy, it shows Darkseid in the middle there. That was the thing. And as we saw with some of those previs, the previs early on, that's very early on previs, showed Steppenwolf in like attacking the Amazons. And so we have that older looking Steppenwolf in the previs. So it was always intended for Steppenwolf to be the main bad guy throughout the movie. But the history lesson was going to apparently have Uxas. And I do like Snyder's hashtag here, hashtag Uxas and the anti-life, which I believe is something that Snyder has confirmed before with the anti-life equation. It's kind of funny too, because apparently Uxas is a righty and Steppenwolf is a lefty, because I looked at the picture and Steppenwolf is holding his axe in the left hand and Uxas is holding his weapon, I will just go with a weapon, in his right hand. So it's just something I just noticed.
Nice detective work there.
Yeah, well, if I'm going to notice shit, I got to notice shit. Apparently, they tried to de-Snyder it so much, they made him hold the weapon with another hand. That's how much they tried to change things. And of course, our suspected voice of Darkseid, which I think at this point has got to be confirmed. I mean, he's going to be at Project Comic-Con helping those guys out. But Ray Porter, first he said to Snyder, Happy Father's Day, Zach, to this image, and then put nice spot for a picnic on Vero. And I think he's now posted nice spot for a picnic and showing this image on his Twitter as well. I mean, I'm not going to be like picky here and stuff like that, but if he would have dropped this picture a year ago, I appreciate it so much, but man, timing is everything. And it just, I just wish this would have dropped sooner, because to me, this is a bombshell. This is something that sets his movie so far apart. I get the Silas Stone dying, but when you have a baddie like Darkseid that was supposed to be, at least in some part of your movie, the big guy from the DC universe, that's so monumental, and that shows how different your movie really was more than anything, and how much WB just forced the de-Snydering of this movie to an epic degree. And I just wish in some way, maybe last Father's Day, fucking 2018 of June 14th or 15th or 16th, whatever the hell we're at. If this doesn't gain traction with all the things that have been going on, with the articles, with the somewhat positive articles for the most part, and now this being dropped, if this doesn't grab some kind of headline somewhere and get the hashtag either release the Snyder Cut trending, or just Snyder Cut, or alternate version of Justice League, something. If this doesn't get people to start asking questions, I don't know what will.
Yeah, even for the most casual comic book fan, you have to be asking yourself, like, holy shit, Darkseid was supposed to be in this movie. What else was there supposed to be? What other differences are there? That this has to start getting that conversation even more momentum. It's insane. And it was funny because Matt shot me this picture earlier today. I was watching Man of Steel, and as I'm watching it for the 300th time, I'm thinking to myself, man, what could have been? And, it's just one of those, same thing I do with BVS. Now it's another reminder, because it's these movies had laid the foundation. And then the timing was impeccable, and I can't remember my exact text to Matt, but I'm like, this just kind of pisses me off, and it's because
I was confused. He's like, that pisses me off.
Like, okay, why? Adding on top of my mentality was already like, man, what a missed opportunity, and then boom, the impeccable timing where I'm like, oh, of course, fucking Darkseid was supposed to be there. And then we already knew certain things, but this picture just confirms, and it's so awesome to see him standing there. He doesn't even have the armor that we're so used to. It's a younger Darkseid, and it's awesome. And again, such a disappointment and a missed opportunity, all these things that we're starting to hear and more stuff that's starting to come out. But hopefully this continues the momentum of the Release the Snyder Cut campaign, and we can start getting something.
Also, Zach posted another image on Vero as well of Cyborg, or Victor Stone, in his college letterman's jacket, and he's seeing Silas Stone, his mom, and I guess himself. And Ray Fisher even put this out on his Twitter with a quote saying, "My poor broken boy, I can make you whole again, Victor." And apparently this is a moment when he's trying to break up the mother boxes. We've heard speculation of this is when he's touching the mother boxes, so much shit is going on. He's seeing so many different things, a more Darkseid involvement, a evil Superman involvement, and now this is showing him struggling with the mother box for the most part, trying to separate it. It's a telling image. It's very, the heart. This was the heart of the movie. Makes so much more sense every picture we get.
And you threw him out! God damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Just to get some more detail on Ray Fisher's post, our friend Stephen Colbert on Vero asked Zack Snyder, so was My Poor Broken Boy Darkseid or the mother box? Was someone providing a voice for the mother box, or would it have been one of Victor's parents? Zack Snyder replied, Silas and his mom's voice. So it kind of paints that picture a little bit better of what exactly this scene, what was kind of unfolding in this scene, and how it would have been portrayed to us. And it gives you chills. And yep, as Matt said, and Snyder has confirmed, it's supposed to be the fucking heart of this movie. And here's just more details to that. And I feel like out of the two, I was more excited for the other picture, but this one got a lot of traction, a lot of people asking questions and things like that, which was kind of cool.
So it continues. Apparently, Zach is in don't give a fuck mode, as some Twitter people like to say. And he is just releasing the information. Hashtag release the information, I guess. He is answering all these questions in a barrage of answering. I thought he was making a movie, but I guess not. I don't know. Apparently today is a cheat day or something. I guess he had Father's Day off. Let's go with that. So a question that has been speculated for a while, I believe John Aaron Garza, again from Real Anarchy, has put out an article, and this could lead into spoilers for the Snyder Cut. If you don't want to hear this, then cut out and maybe I'll put a timestamp, maybe not. I'll let you guess when it comes back. But this is a possible spoiler for the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League. There's a part where we saw in the trailer where Cyborg is leaning back. He's yelling something. A lot of people have speculated he's yelling Barry. And we also see in that trailer Flash running really fast. And this is before all the color changes, all the crap, the Russian family. He's just running. And he's not running to a Russian family because we know that wasn't Zack's intentions. That was a Whedon edition. As John Aaron Garza's put in a previous article, and so in that article, it talks about how the explosion when Cyborg and Superman are pulling it apart, the mother boxes, that actually explodes and kills them. And apparently Barry running back is to reverse time to stop this to help. And Zack Snyder answers this gentleman's question saying that the image that he's showing of Victor Stone seeing his family, he says right after that, when Barry runs time back after the League's initial failure and uses the epic jolt of speed forces to project Vic into the mother boxes.
A lot of people ask why. Why treat the customer this way? Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
Wow. Just more craziness. I've seen some people talk about the amount of deaths that this movie was supposed to have, and also the remaining people who were trying to work together to undo what had already been done in terms of in terms of the deaths with Cyborg and Superman. Yeah, exactly. With Cyborg and Superman and Batman still remaining, but then there's a whole bunch of stuff where he sacrifices himself. So this is kind of where a lot of that, I believe, was going, and just more craziness. We had some people who said, wait, so Cyborg entered the Mother Box network, and Zack Snyder replied, of course, how else is he going to destroy it? But you already know that.
No, not some of us. There's so much bullshit like on Reddit, and other people spew a bunch of bullshit. You never know what's true. And all you can ever do is just take little bits and pieces from here and there and try to make sense of it. I honestly was unsure about the time travel thing because it sounded very Superman 1-ish. And I didn't think...
Exactly, same here.
I'm sure in some way it's probably executed better in Snyder's version. It probably makes more sense with context, but when you think about someone dies or multiple people die and then someone runs back really fast or flies back really fast and reverses time, it kind of lent to me a little bit of a cornball-ish Superman 1-ish type thing. That was my initial reaction to it. I'm sure it makes more sense, but we don't know. And if you want to put out a script or a comic letting us know, just to get some of the edge taken off here, that would be nice. I mean...
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
We can keep piecing all your Vero posts together in the last year and a half and try to make a comic out of that. We could try to do that. But eventually we'll know this movie in whole at one point.
Yeah, and then it'll be released in about 20 years.
Another interesting comment. Somebody asked about the backdrop in the Ray Fisher photo, asking, Zack Snyder, is that the nightmare scene in the background? Snyder's response was, we use it as a template, but the finished one would have been more complicated, which lends to the fact that not only when they do visual effects, as Jay Oliva has pointed out, they do temp scores. Well, it looks like they also do temp backgrounds as well. It looks like he's kind of shoved a background in there to make it look presentable for a cut that's 3 hours and 34 minutes long.
A possible screening to executives, maybe, for that?
Probably. I mean, that's a good assumption, Shane. That's good. That's detail that we need. Apparently, some people don't fucking get that sometimes. That is interesting, and I wonder how much of that is throughout the movie. And again, it's just... to be perfectly honest, some of these pictures, as much as I enjoyed them, have frustrated me to no end. And I think Shane as well, because as you talk about, as he mentioned earlier, he was pissed when he saw the picture as he's watching Man of Steel and seeing all the possibilities. And it feels like at this point, I see the Snyder crossword puzzle and I'm like, okay, that's cool and all. I enjoyed trying to piece together some of the things there. What a lost chance that we had at SnyderCon to get him on the record in front of everybody asking detailed questions. It was such a lost moment. And to get that information out and about publicly, because now through Vero posts and everything, we're all just trying to piece things together. And it's just frustrating at some point, because it's like, man, just tell us, I mean, what we need to do, or what you need to do, or can we, I don't know, whatever we got to do here to try to make this thing work. I don't know. It gets frustrating.
Yeah, it might be time to DM Mr. Snyder and ask him to jump on our podcast or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, why didn't we try that before? Fuck.
Right? He'd be like, who the fuck are you?
Well, that's the fat guy that yelled in the back of the theater.
Yeah.
Oh, no, denied. Then he asked me a bunch of creepy questions.
Hey, you asked some very straight to the point questions.
Yes.
That worked out.
Yeah. And then to conclude all this fun, something that John Campea doesn't seem to understand, and a lot of other individuals, and Stephen Colbert put this out with quotations saying, why doesn't he just move on? Somebody said to Snyder, it would have gone more mainstream if you did this stuff in Twitter. And of course, in a very Zack Snyder response, I don't care about mainstream. This is for you.
Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
That almost brought a tear to my eye. To me, that is the epitome of Zack Snyder right there. And I know he's, in this case, I'm assuming he's just referring to these posts that he's putting out today. But I feel like that's the way that he makes his movies, that he does not care about the mainstream. He does this for himself, and he does this for fans of comic books. And what does he want to see? And just in that response, I'm like, that is very Zack Snyder-ish and such a perfect reply.
And the Snydercut saga continues more than ever. Hopefully this is some momentum that we can enjoy with the articles, with these posts, and rolling into San Diego Comic-Con with hopefully the traction that Project Comic-Con will gather from its efforts. Hopefully this moves the needle, and that's what we need. That's what we need more than ever, and maybe we can make history. Set a precedent of a movie that is in limbo right now, and talk about development hell at this point. But past that, in post-production hell, I guess it would be.
Yep.
It's truly history making. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
You just want to say, fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck, 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 fuck you.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.